Hi, everyone. Welcome to the module of analysis of brand pack identity and strategy prepared by myself, an independent consultant. My name is Gail Macleod, and I wanted to just give a bit of background about the Australian Institute of Packaging, which has invited me to talk. The Australian Institute of Packaging, the AIP, is the peak professional body for packaging, education, and training in Australasia. To international packaging leaders, along with a host of people in associated disciplines like sales and marketing, purchasing, production, and environment. Welcome again to the module on the analysis of brand pack identity and strategy. Times have changed. Consumers now jump from brand to brand, from product to product, and site to site in a heartbeat. They look for brands with a relevant purpose, brands that give back, and brands that embody environmental responsibility, authenticism, personalization, agility, and creativity with a conscience. At the same time, brand relevance remains high. Brands are beacons of trust. The more choice consumers have, the more important these beacons become. Research shows that brand relevance is especially high in categories that offer almost unlimited choice, such as online dating, online shopping, and online travel booking. For online shoppers, risk reduction is the most important brand function by far, well ahead of image benefit and information efficiency. A strong brand radiates trust and shields shoppers from the risk of making the wrong choice. That said, data and analytics are transforming the way brands and customers interact with each other. In this situation, it's time to update the proven principles of brand strategy. Pack identity is the perception, which is a belief or opinion, often held by many people and based on how things seem, of the brand, and it's centered on its purpose, which is translated into a set of values and goals that guide communications, operations, and people, and product development. Every brand touchpoint needs to be created to align with this purpose-driven approach through its personality. When clearly defined and executed, it enables a consistent and authentic presence and perception. The extension of this on the brand's packaging portfolio is no exception. It is often the most impactful aspect of consumer engagement. It is seen, touched, smelt, heard, and the contents are tasted, a sweep of the 5 sensory attributes, and used most often in daily rituals. The persona and its attributes define the usage and occasion behind the reason to purchase, such as for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacking, social occasions, kids' health, for convenience in school or work lunches. The benefits of the product with a clear identity enables the consumer to decide on purchase with ease. Brands draw their power from 3 sources: science, art, and craft. In times of rapid change, strong brands particularly need the benefits of these robust foundations, a deep understanding of customers and the market based on rigorously tested concepts, a clear purpose brought to life by creativity, and an inspiring brand purpose delivered consistently across all touchpoints to drive both brand perception and business performance. We will touch on the why do we need this, what is the visual language, the how includes the graphic makeup of the visual language of the packaging, as does legislation, ingredients, semiotics, such as usage, benefits, whether it's flammable, export, and so on, the other symbols. To understand where the brand is going, we first need to ascertain its current position and purpose alongside positive and negative perceptions. The business objectives, the reason for the projects to generate the end goals of the project with ongoing criteria assessment. Research and usage, UNI attitudes as we call these studies, will further allow insights into the brand's current position and inform of the reason for the project, such as one of maybe the following 7 scenarios. Is the brand undergoing a restage on budget, purpose, and or vision? Or is the brand being added is a new product being added to the brand basket, absorption into the master brand? Have the rituals of consumption changed? Does the structural packaging need to change to be an enabler? Has legislation changed? Or is the requirement to capture data through digital methodologies? Is market sentiment influencing purchase patterns in alignment with the circular economy? Understanding the brand's current real estate is really important. Who and what are the parent company and their values, the sub-brand and the products within the portfolio, and the relation to the current brand architecture. Where does the purchase take place? E-commerce, retailer, and what benefits exist? What is the farm to fork journey and aligned production requirements? What trends are influencing the market and which ones are likely to have a long-term impact? Kantar World Panel tells us the online channel has grown 18 times faster than the FMCG industry baseline over the last decade, increasing its share of market value to 7.2% in 2021, up from 1.3% in 2012. We forecast a further 0.5 gain in value during 2022, with e-commerce reaching 7.7% of total global FMCG spend by the end of the year, as rising to a more than 9% share in the next 4 years. Has legislation changed and consider the driver for sodium and sugar, or what are the reasons? Slide 6. The academic analysis is imperative. However, the component of visual analysis and the in-store and online environment should not be overlooked. The visual audit records the on-shelf impact, what we see, brand strength, and communication elements. The visual audit takes place in key channels through photography, logo, color, and messaging, which is assessed against the business objectives. Assess any smart packaging, brand, and messaging. I'm going to share a small video that we took with our colleagues in Shanghai. And then I'm going to share one quickly with you, which is just an example of smart packaging. We know smart packaging is not new, but it's something that the consumer hasn't yet embraced. Oh, let me just go to this one. Very exciting, isn't it? With regard to the future of smart packaging and data capture and so on. I want to share a little bit about From Hero to Zero, a huge project that I've worked on for many years. I'm no longer working on it. Obviously, there was a disaster within this portfolio, but I'm going to take you, it's a very good case study, From Hero to Zero and rebirth, when a brand has undergone such a drastic change. The enterprise brand was the market leader in the processed meats category in South Africa, holding over 37% market share. A kazi, or a local street food, the kota, the half or quarter bread, feeding millions of low-income consumers every day. The basket of products and formats within the brand had grown over the years, with so many consumers eating the kota with polony and enterprise in it. But competitors were starting to eat into this market share. The visual audit highlighted the shelf impact, the current brand architecture, and exponential portfolio. The growth had resulted in poor cold chain shopper navigation and shelf visibility. You can see certain color cues like yellows and whites driving chicken on the shelf audit. On shelf navigation of the logo, impact the color psychology and segment navigation, such as the chicken format. The impact when compared to the competitor set was important. Descriptive messaging, semiotics, claims, and appetite appeal highlighted gaps for the brand to grow its market share. Legislation such as the size of the product descriptors considered early on in the process enable a strategic solutions-based approach at the outset. Notice the logo in this image. It is much more visible, and we'll see another pack where you can compare it to later in this module, and how this changed after the rebirth after this listeriosis disaster. Brand architecture used to be neatly divided into two schools, those favoring a dominant corporate brand, such as Amex or Virgin, choose the branded house model, while others opted for the house of brands, typified by numerous sub-brands with little or no mention of the company behind them. For example, General Mills and Reckitt Kaiser. Several emerging trends have rendered these concepts oversimplistic and outdated. First, the ubiquity of information has lifted the veil of the company behind the product, and therefore these brands are becoming ever more interlinked. As a result, enlightened customers are becoming more demanding and discerning in their purchasing decisions. Secondly, the sheer cost of maintaining brands is forcing a rethink of where to invest the marketing dollars. And finally, as companies more frequently acquire strong brands with long histories in new geographies, it gets harder to simply or immediately absorb these into the master brand. In response, companies are increasingly turning to a brand network model encompassing more differentiated and tailored relationships between corporate and product brands. Corporate brands are taking greater prominence in an attempt to project organizational values, convey trust, and build brand equity with multiple stakeholders. Take recent ads by Google to feature the tagline "Designed in California" and focuses on the company and not its products. If you look at this architecture example of enterprise, the image on the left portrays an indiscernible brand architecture, which was the historic architecture, versus the organogram on the right, which has a logical structure which enables a pack price architecture. If you watch the module on strategy, you would understand pack price architecture. Products are grouped into classes and associated with a pricing strategy to further drive the decision to purchase. Color is a key component of brand architecture on shelf navigation. The psychology of color has been used for eons, and it has an impact on our mood. It is designed to correlate with a consumer's set of values. Packaging is no different, and color is what is used with strategic effect to impart the brand persona, enhance the food styling, and as a navigational tool. The navigational advantages include enhancing block merchandising, underpinning master brand values, and support segment and SKU differentiation. Looking at this organogram, you'll notice that segments are driven by color, and everyday segment in this particular portfolio was blue, and chicken was a lighter yellow. So color, when used with photography, can make or break a sale. When it is used with strategic intent, it supports the brand architecture and communicates alternative serving methods. It is the secondary key driver after the brand in the purchase decision of the packaging. And as such a great care should be taken to depict the actual product in the photography. The use of photographic props, such as the gray slate, denotes a segment of the brand architecture, whereas the use of the fork, an alternate segment, and thereafter strategically aligned to the SKU. Eye tracking and neurological studies have proven the duration of time that is spent looking at the photography and the packaging. You will notice on all these photographs, there are secret signatures that include color. So each and every photograph includes the enterprise red and the enterprise green, whether it be through garnish or some other methodology. With the amount of effort and cost that goes into creating highly consumer relevant packaging, plus appetite appeal, the legal procedures required, the squad of specialists that work on the brand portfolio must understand the brand guard book. The brand guard book is designed to enable all strategic and creative agencies to manage the brand and its signatures. I mentioned the signature in the prior slide of the red and the green. Here you can see it's actually highlighted, and it is something that we ask all the brand squad people to adhered to across all their media. Packaging also needs to be print ready and on strategy. And over the course of driving 5,000 projects with a clear strategy, I found it is very evident that this approach increases the brand owner's return on investment. Enterprise enjoyed a 19% compounded growth post-launch. The legislation continues concerning every product, whether it has language translations, barcodes, and/or export codes. Packaging manufacturers are strategic partners and are included in every step of the project to ensure their anticipated outputs are achieved through component molding or lidding manufacture, printing, and/or application. Printers are consulted on varying print methods to ensure that these techniques can be achieved and that what was shared in the boardroom is still feasible. Projects need to have succinct KPIs or key performance indicators on which the success or failure of the project can be measured. The visual audit mentioned earlier in this module creates a platform for parties and stakeholders to measure the results of a project. An example of a KPI on this particular slide, notice the power of the food styling with the meat being the hero on the right and the brand being much more predominant than it was on the product on the left. There are multiple legislation touch points and KPIs that have been met, and this is a way that we can check back against what we were set out to achieve, what our goals were, and how successful we were in achieving them. Did you know that the average consumer shops on their way home from work? They usually have children with them and are irritable and tired. They spend a median of 20 minutes in the shop and are confronted with over 27,000 SKUs, each vying for their attention. 70% of these shoppers actually leave their glasses behind, so they can't see much. Therefore, what is the point size of what we've written on the pack? How visible is it? How bold are the colors? How easy it is for them to navigate? They leave the store with 20 or less products. Each product has less than a second to catch this consumer's eye and convert to a sale. However, all of this is wasted revenue and time if the product fails to deliver on expectations. A great piece of packaging always ensures sale. However, if the product or the food contents disappoint, a repeat sale is not going to happen. That's why we need the squad of all the experts working together to ensure success. Thank you very much for your time. I've appreciated the opportunity to talk with you. Bye-bye.